Okay, welcome back to the third video of how to record macros. In the first video, we learned about how to record macros. In the second video, we learned how to trigger them using buttons. And in this third video, what we're going to do is we're going to learn how to edit that code. We'll watch it run line by line so you can see what's happening behind the scenes. And then from that, be able to edit the code to meet your needs. And this is where it gets fun and gets pretty powerful. So I'm at sheet 3. Sheet 3, remember, has or you can look at your sheet 3 and you can see that it has the blank, the unformatted data that in our scenario you get sent every day and that needs to be formatted. We of course automated that with some recording of a macro and a button. Now what we want to do is we're gonna walk through this line by line, and you're gonna see the macro running, and that's going to be pretty impressive. And then we're gonna edit it. So to do that, we got to set the windows up. To do that, let's click on your developer tab. We're gonna click on Visual Basics. Now we should have two windows open. You should have your kind of VB editor window, and you should have your worksheet. What I want you to do is I want you to grab this worksheet, slide it over to the left so that it populates the left half of your screen. Take this one, do the same thing, except for now slide this one over. Essentially what we want to do is we want to look at these in split screen because we're going to be doing some stuff in code here and we want to see that happen over here. Okay. Find your subroutine called format budget data. So find that. If your window is going to look a little bit different, you may have another window up here. This one might be closed. Essentially, the two important windows that we're going to work with today are the project window. So here's the project window, and then over here is your actual coding window. Now, later on, I'm going to walk you through kind of all of the different components in your project window. We don't need to know that right now. We just need to be able to find in our coding window, we need to be able to find the subroutine we created and that runs when we click that button. And that for me is format budget data. Now, once you find that, what I want you to do is I want you to click the name of the subroutine, and then on your keyboard, I want you to find the key F8. It's the very top key, kind of in the middle of your keyboard, F8. So I want you to click um, I want you to click F8 once. I want you to click F8 once. You're going to see that this top line turned yellow. Now, what that means is it's about to run. The next time I click F8, it's going to run this line of code. So I'm going to click F8 again with my finger. Now it's highlighted this one telling me that it's going to run this line of code. Now, when I run this line of code, watch what happens over here. So it's selected columns A through E. Now I'm going to hit F8 again, and it just stretched out the width of those columns to 11.11. I'm going to hit F8 again, and it's going to auto fit the width of this column to the text that's in it. So really, I don't even need this line anymore. So I can go ahead and delete that line of code because that was one that I recorded, and this auto fit's going to take care of that. However wide the words are here is going to be the width of the column. Okay, so now I'm going to hit F8 again. You can see that it's selected all of the first row. Click F8 again. It inserted a new row, F8. Now with selection.interior, so I have this selected range here, and all of this code right here is going to affect the interior of these cells. So I'm going to have a solid color. I'm going to have automatic color index. Here's that actual color. I'm going to put some tinting on it. This is all things that we recorded that it just knows to do. Watch. So tints it. Now we're still selected, so the font, it's going to change that font. So I'm just F8ing, I'm clicking F8 as I go through this, and I'm just going line by line in the code, watching it do its thing. Now when in the case when we have the button and we just click the button, it does all of this in like, a quarter of a second. But here we're investigating the code a little bit, just understanding kind of what's happening in the background. Oh, look, here's where it's going to turn these into currency. That's great. And end sub. So there you go. You can see that this is the code we recorded. You didn't even know you were recording code. Now you do, and you can see exactly what it does at each line by, again, clicking F8 through your keyboard. And you can come back here and you can tweak it. So let's say that, I don't know, we wanted to um, change the word total here. See how it says total here? So that's this line of code right here. I wonder if we wanted to instead to say total expenses. Now the next time I run this code, instead of saying total, it's going to say total expenses. And you can, just come in here and tweak it as you want. So um, this concludes our discussion of how to record macros. And at this point, I think you should be having enough knowledge and skills to be able to record your own macros and play with them and tweak them. Um, like I said at the beginning of the class, um, recording macros. Oh, give me 1 second. Recording macros, you can pretty much automate 50% of your work in Excel through recording macros. Now, it's not, I mean, the other 50%, that's a big chunk of things that you can't really do. But 50% is a big deal. And so recording macros is a powerful tool. Um, our next example is going to be one where we run into a spot in recording macros that won't that isn't compatible with recording. And so we're going to record it, but then we're going to have to figure out a fix for it outside of recording. And that'll be a nice challenge for us in our next move.